What up, people? Mike D right here. Is my mic on? Are we how we sounding? How we sounding? I'm gonna be real quick with this. I wasn't gonna talk about this either. I know I keep saying that, but I do think that some of these hip hop conversations need conversation, right? Well, Nicki Minaj went on Twitter yesterday and Instagram, social media in general, and just blasted out Jay and her relationship and the fact that she feels Jay owes her money. Now, I'm just going to get right into it. I'm not going to go through every single tweet, but just some of the ones that have made the most waves and have created the most conversation and created the most questions. Nikki posted, I've calculated about 100 to 2 million, 200 million, excuse me, so far. Jay-Z called me to settle this karmic debt. It's only collecting more interest. You still in my top five, though. Let's get it, nigga. And anyone still calling him Hove will answer to God for the blasphemy. Now, she is alluding to the fact that, some of the lawsuits, and she actually posted a tweet about a paternity lawsuit or whatnot was coming down on Jay, and she is talking about her debt with him being it's being karma, right? And call her to settle it so that, some of this karma, good karma, can go your way and not bad karma. Now, for the people who aren't aware, Nikki was a part of the early parts of Tidal, right? Tidal's whole point initially was the fact that artists were going to have ownership in their catalogs and in the streaming world. So it was Spotify and it was Apple Music initially that were streaming platforms, but Tidal came into the game being the platform that was for the artists and by the artists. And Jay-Z sold Tidal to the owner of Twitter or the founder of Twitter or whatnot, Jack Dorsey. And the settlement, or I guess not the settlement, but the payout or the buyout is what Nikki is alluding to. Let me go to this actual article. So Nikki is publicly criticized, and this is coming from Yahoo. Nikki has publicly criticized Jay-Z and former Interscope CEO Steve Stout in regards to the Tidal deal, claiming that she was offered only $1 million when the platform sold, despite being a founding artist partner with a reported 3% equity. She alleges that she was offered this sum in assured silence, and the deal was present with a 24-hour deadline. I'm going to go to that tweet in a second. According to Vibe.com and Complex, this is from Yahoo again, she says she also accused them of trying to distract from Diddy's legal issues. Okay, whatever. Those are some things that. All right, and Nikki's claim. Nikki says that she was offered only $1 million despite having a reported 3% equity stake in the initial, Tidal launch, which would have been worth approximately $9.06 million based on the sale price. Okay. So Nikki claims that she was offered $1 million and she was supposed to be paid out $9.01 million, 9 million, and that's no, I mean, okay. Yeah. All right, so 960, if you will. Okay. All right, and let me go to Nikki's initial tweet where she actually talks about that, and this tweet is actually from last year. What's the actual date on this tweet? Anyway, said I received a call advising Tidal was sold and they made no money on the deal, so all they could offer me was $1 million. But wait, there's more. The lawyer advised that Desiree, who she calls Deseret, advised him that I had to sign the agreement in 24 hours if you wanted the $1 million offer that was on the table. Okay, so Nikki is saying, and this is what she said when Tidal sold, that she was unaware of the sale and she got a call from representatives basically telling her that there was no money in the sale when based on the initial, I guess, agreement with the 3% with Tidal from founding artists, that the payout based on the sale would have been around $9 million plus dollars. She's saying that they told her that there was no money in the sale and they could offer her $1 million, but she would have to sign that deal in 24 hours. It was either 24 hours, $1 million, or nothing. That's what Nikki is alleging. And that's why all of this started. And she's saying that we've calculated about $100 to $200 million so far. So Jay-Z called me to settle this karmic debt. Then she goes on to say, I'm going to use some of the money that Jay-Z owes me to send the Barbs to college, pay their school fees and student loans via my student of the game charity. Interesting. Um, she said deposed Deseret. She's going on, right? And another thing too, she felt the way about the Super Bowl selection, but again, I think that everything kind of comes from here. Now, I will say this, man. Nicki is a New Yorker through and through, Queens. She's always, bigged up Jay. She's always been a Jay fan. She did say the Jay's still in her top five, so this seems to be more of a business quarrel than anything. She says, "What is it true? I'm learning so much about my rights. So you get to decide how long your deposition is." She said, "Ha ha ha." It's this lady being accused by her daughter of being a racist against black people. Jay-Z. Okay, hold on. I don't think that one's relevant. She's just going in. All right. Then this is what she says. Dear Jay-Z and Deseret. So she's speaking about Desiree Perez, Jay-Z's business partner and the CEO of Rock Nation. Says, Dear Jay-Z and Desiree, you've ruined hip-hop, you ruined football, you ruined basketball, you ruined touring, you ruined Instagram, you ruined Twitter. The jig is up. All of this is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. All right. And she continues on. I'm gonna skip some of this stuff. I mean, I do want to go to the ones that are making the most waves. She says, so let me get this straight. Y'all so-called black savior Jay-Z has a Hispanic CEO who was pardoned by President Trump. Interesting. So does that mean Desiree isn't a Democrat? Black people, I thought y'all hate all Trump supporters. Wait, did Jay-Z ever campaign for Kamala? He's benefited so much from the party. When President Obama gave a speech about the brothers, why didn't Jigga come out and strongly campaign for the Democratic Party at that time? Could it be that y'all have all been hoodwinked? LOL. That was so kind of President Trump. And that was kind of Obama to passionately go out and campaign. Oh, let me see. She said, and that was so kind of President Obama to passionately go out and campaign. Okay, she's playing both sides. But what did Mr. Jigga Man do to help y'all win the election? He's above speaking out to help his party? Question mark. Or was it not his party? Is it just about who can benefit him and Desiree at the time? Oh, black people, look like the Jigga Man and Desiree played y'all once again. The jig is up. Now, that's an interesting conversation, interesting dialogue or whatnot, and we could go on a huge diatribe about that. I think that this last presidential election kind of showed that the entertainment class doesn't really have the cachet on garnering the public's vote in the way that it used to. And I think that people kind of see things for what they are. I don't know why Jay-Z chose to sit out of the campaigning in this election, but some of the things that Nicki is alluding to or saying here, I mean, I guess could be factually proven. Yeah, there was a pardon. President Trump did pardon his business partner, Desiree Perez. That happened. They continued to do business. And Jay-Z didn't campaign for the Democrats in 2024 for whatever reason. They could be unrelated. That's fine. But I think the more troubling part here that Nicki is inferring is the fact that we, and I'm a Black American myself, we as Black Americans should feel betrayed by Jay or feel like, he's not for the people because he didn't choose to campaign for the Democratic Party. I think that's a problematic statement. I see what she's trying to do and trying to say, but I do think that that is a problematic statement, and it's kind of it's a tone deaf statement as well, not understanding where we are politically and where Black America is when it comes to, again, entertainers deciding elections for us. Now, again, whatever Jay chose to do with his endorsement, his vote, or lack thereof, That's his business, actually, and I don't think that that reflects on anything as it pertains to the black populace. And, and if he was able to get something, as far as like, one of his friends, business partners, and, family to a certain extent, pardoned by a certain candidate and chose not to, campaign against that candidate. I mean, what can we say? I mean, what would one want him to say? Do we even care? But she continued to go on. She says, Desiree, were you out marching with your fellow Mexican immigrants? Oh, right. You were pardoned by President Trump, so you kind of can't, right? I mean, it's kind of like I mean, it kind of implies you guys are cool. I don't think that. I don't think that means that, but hey, whatever. With him, while y'all seem to pretend to be against him, or are y'all not his friend either anymore? Just like Diddy. Mm. I mean, if someone pardoned me, we'd be friends for life. She continues on, but I do want to stop there. There's a lot that she said there. Well, when it comes to Diddy, I mean, I don't know how close Nicki's been with Diddy in her career, but everybody kind of stepped away from Diddy during this whole process, and I think that the fans saw it. It was only a handful of entertainers who even would speak his name. Ye being one, Boosie being another, and now we're seeing after the dust has kind of settled and the trials completed, people feel safe enough to come outside and have an opinion. Um, as far as that whole thing of if someone pardoned me, I'd be friends with them for life. I mean, we got to be honest here, and Nikki's always held it down for Wayne, as she should. Wayne is the big, big, big reason why she is here. And Wayne was pardoned by Trump as well, and Wayne has shown his allegiance as well based on that. So, you know, not Jay's not the only one that had family that was pardoned by Trump. You did as well. So I mean, I don't know if in this diatribe she's speaking against Trump or speaking for Trump, but I mean, where do you stand on these things? Because Trump also pardoned Wayne. Um, you've done so much evil to black people. Now you've turned your back on your own as well as it seems. Okay, again, back to her. You didn't campaign for Kamala either. And again, you have a family, friend, business associate at Wayne who was pardoned by Trump as well. And are you not black? The way she's speaking is the same things that she's done that Jay, one could argue that she's done the same things politically that Jay's done. But you're holding Jay with the bag of being black, where it almost seems like you're not holding yourself accountable for the same thing. Am I reading into this too much? She says, you've done so much evil to black people. Now you've turned your back on your own as well as it seems. So have you turned your back on black people or are you not black? Interesting. I mean, the way she wrote this. Don't you guys over there keep black artists fighting while you're sitting back benefiting from both parties? Hmm. If I had gotten a pardon from President Trump, imagine the uproar. Yet the Rock Nation CEO does it, and yep, you guessed it, silence. I mean, Wayne got pardoned too. Black people, until you speak on this, I'm sorry, black people, until you speak on this, you can never, ever, ever. Huh, again, she's kind of separating herself from the black populace, which is interesting. Said black people, until you speak on this, you can never, ever, ever, ever. I wonder how Desiree thanked Trump for the kind gesture. LOL. Got a Hispanic woman allegedly calling her son-in-law a N-word under the protection of y'all so-called black savior while y'all sat around making them rich. Then y'all need him. Then y'all needed them the most. I'm sorry, when y'all needed them the most, you were silent. Sorry. When y'all needed them the most, they were silent. Chin up. Jay-Z come out to perform recently once that legal stuff started coming out. Yet when Obama was pleading for the brothers to vote for Kamala, the richest and most influential black rapper was nowhere to be found. Maybe I'm forgetting. I don't know. Did he say Even one word? It seemed like an urge. I'm saying, excuse me. It seemed like an urgent request by the tone of Obama's speech. Yet, brother billionaire never got in the field for y'all. When y'all needed him the most, after all the money that he made off of the Democratic Party, brainwashed black people, those blogs won't be here a year from now. Said the blogs won't be here a year from now either. So enjoy. Okay. A few places to go here. She's alluding to the fact that, or she's speaking about the time when Obama, during Kamala's campaign, was calling out black men and saying that the brothers, aka black men, need to go out there and support and do what's right. And she's saying that while Obama was passionately, coming with that plea, Jay-Z was nowhere to be found. Um, I mean, listen, again, he has his own reasons for that, I'm sure. And, really, it's none of our business, and I don't think that there's a savior in any of this. And I think that the black American voting public understands that. And if there is a savior, it's probably not coming from our entertainment class, if you will. She continues on, and I'll wrap this up. She says, so wait, Jay-Z had Not Like Us playing at the Super Bowl after his CEO was pardoned by President Trump. We got to find out who they, we got to find out who is they. President Biden posted Not Like Us after Desiree was pardoned by Trump. So, okay. And, I've said this on the podcast before, like, who exactly is they? But again, that's a whole nother conversation, whole nother thing we could get into. But again, Nicki's ignoring the fact that Wayne was actually pardoned by Trump as well. So I don't, I would like some self reflection in here too. We don't know exactly where Nicki stands on any of these things. She's implying that she supports the Democratic Party based on how, she's saying these things. But if that's the case, you didn't campaign for them either. And you also have a very, very close business associate that was pardoned on a highly publicized pardon at the same time as Desiree. So, I mean, I don't know. That's she's gonna have to disclose a little bit more. It just sounds like grasping for straws at that point. I mean, she has some points, but a lot of those points she's making apply to her as well. Last one I'm gonna say, and I think this is she said her Instagram was locked up too. That happened after her diatribe. She said Democrats attacked me over my cousin's balls. Remember, that did happen. Let's see if they have any thoughts on that Desiree pardon. Let's see if they have any thoughts on brother billionaire never campaigning for Kamala even after Obama played it with the brothers. Isn't this the brother? The one brother who could have gotten the job done for y'all? Well, if the top brother in charge can leave y'all hanging without repercussion, then may everyone else leave you hanging as well. Hanging like my cousin's friend's balls. Well, I guess she kind of put it out there that she's not rocking with the Democrats either. And she wants it, I guess, to be known that she doesn't feel, or unless she has any more inside information outside of her inferences, she wants it to be known that Jay doesn't rock with them either, or Desiree. She put Desiree out there. But I mean, again, I don't know what we should do with this information because once again, I think that the days of the voting public, from all demographics, going to our entertainers for political advice, I think that's over. And I don't know if she wanted to do this to somewhat chastise or expose Jay-Z to a certain extent, but I don't know if that exposes anything because again, your Lil Wayne got pardoned by Trump as well. Took a picture with him and all that, and we kept it moving. And people might feel their way about it, but most people don't. I think that even his current album rollout kind of showed you that. Now there were a lot of critiques on the album, but a lot of that was based on how people felt about the album. I do think that some people went out their way to criticize Wayne in ways that they didn't before based on that. But, for the most part, Wayne was able to keep it pushing with his career. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see where this goes. I mean, we probably need a little bit more information on how that whole title thing panned out because that does sound kind of weird, how that worked out. And I could see, Nicki's frustration in that. I mean, Title was launched as a platform that was for the artist and by the artist. And if you didn't get what was promised to you from that initial launch, you could feel cheated and feel like you were used for an agenda that it didn't turn out to be. I mean, I've even said this on the microphone as well. Like, it's problematic that Tidal was launched in that way, and it was about artists having their ownership. That's why Prince actually, put all of his music on Tidal and no other platform before he died. Um, and at the end of the day, it gets sold to big business, for some dollars and a seat at the Cash App table. That does kind of look weird. And Nicki's the only artist speaking out about it publicly because she didn't get what she was promised or signed up for. But I wonder how many other artists that were sitting on that stage at the launch of Tidal feel, a similar way, but they're just charging it to the game because it's not worth the relationship. I think that's the more interesting discussion here. I think she tried to publicly shame Jay for, his political, I guess, involvement or lack thereof in 2024. But again, she has a similar situation where Wayne was pardoned by President Trump as well. So I don't think that's the big story here. I think the big thing here is, how do artists really feel about how the whole title thing went down? And, is the sale of something like title go against what the initial principles were supposed to be about? Let me know in the comments, man. This is an interesting topic, and I know once again people are going to side with the artists that they rock with, that they're fans of, but to some degree, try to step out of that and, look at the situation objectively. And I know Nikki's delivery wasn't the best, and I think she went places that were irrelevant out of anger. But the initial thing here is, do you think that the title thing should have continued to be about the artist and not, be sold in the way that it was and in the fashion that it was without all artists signing off on that? Let me know in the comments, man. Hit like and subscribe, man. And we're going to keep it moving.